And we are live. Welcome to Olivia's Stories, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, Reddit. I've been a long-time lurker on Reddit, but this is my first time posting. I am currently in a dilemma, as I honestly do not know what to do. I'm hoping that by sharing my story here, I'll find some respite or get some advice on what to do. I, Jane, 33, female, cheated on my husband, Leon, 33, male, and got pregnant with a child for my affair partner, Robert, 35, male. I regret it, and I honestly thought my husband would accept the child because he loves me, but instead he made me regret everything. Leon and I had been married for 5 years, but dated for 13 years before then. I met Leon in the quaint setting of Leon's family's bustling cafe nestled on the corner of Elm Street. It was as if fate has destined for us to be together that day. I was a young girl with a penchant for novels and an affinity for hazelnut coffee. Leon was a charming barista with an infectious smile. It was his family cafe, and so he helped out there after school hours. We were both really young, just 15 years old. He noticed me sitting alone at my usual corner table. The cafe was my favorite one, and I went there every day. Eager to please, he seized the opportunity to strike up a conversation, recommending his favorite blend of coffee to complement my literary escape and love for books. Our initial exchange was sprinkled with genuine warmth and shared laughter, and we had an instant rapport that transcended and stretched past the usual customer-barista dynamic. Leon's eagerness to please manifested in every thoughtful gesture, from the perfectly crafted latte art to the extra chocolate drizzly on my mocha. As the days unfolded, Leon's genuine interest in my world became apparent. He not only remembered my favorite coffee order, but also took note of my preferred genres of literature. His eagerness to please extended beyond the confines of the cafe, as he surprised me with a hand-picked selection of books, each carefully chosen to cater to her literary taste. Amidst our coffee-scented conversations and shared smiles, Leon's eagerness to please evolved into a sincere desire to be a constant source of joy in my life. Our connection deepened, and the cafe, once a backdrop to casual encounters, transformed into the stage where the overture of our love story began. Soon we were dating. Our first official date was at a quaint Italian restaurant with dimmed lights and the gentle melody of soft music in the background. Leon picked me up and even recounted anecdotes with a touch of humor. Then when the date was over, he made sure to drop me off at home. Our second date was at a town fair. I had a fear of roller coasters, but Leon was a self-proclaimed roller coaster expert. He offered me his hand and reassured me. I remember our laughter echoing through the amusement park as I clung tightly to Leon's hand, swearing I'd never step onto a roller coaster again. Our third date was simple yet special. We decided to ditch our typical routine and went to a local art gallery. Leon, being into art, shared stories about his favorite pieces, making the experience more personal. I genuinely enjoyed both the art and Leon's animated storytelling. After the gallery, we headed to his family's cozy cafe for coffee. The vibe was chill, and our conversation flowed naturally. We talked about everything from books to childhood memories, peeling back layers and getting to know each other better. Deciding to extend the evening, we took a spontaneous walk in a nearby park under the moonlight. Finding a quiet bench, we continued talking, sharing laughter and stories that created a real connection between them. I and Leon's fourth date was a fantastic day out, exploring nature and getting to know each other. We decided to ditch the fancy stuff and headed to a hiking trail in the morning. Leon, being the thoughtful guy he is, packed a basket full of snacks and sandwiches for a picnic. The drive to the trail was filled with laughter, jokes, and the excitement of the day ahead. The trail we picked was surrounded by tall trees, and as we strolled along, Leon pointed out cool plants and critters, showing off his love for the great outdoors. I was into it, soaking in the beauty and Leon's nature wisdom. He could talk endlessly about nature. While wandering down the trail, the talk even shifted from nature to more personal things. We swapped stories about growing up, shared dreams, and the little quirks that made us who we were. The openness between us honestly made our connection even stronger. A perfect spot along the trail became our picnic zone, We laid out a blanket, surrounded by nature, and dug into the delicious snacks Leon had brought. It was simple but special, munching on sandwiches with the backdrop of trees and the sounds of the forest. We continued their hike, reaching a spot with jaw-dropping views. The scenery mirrored the wide-open possibilities for Leon and I. The day felt like an adventure, and every step brought new memories. I felt like a character in one of the books I loved reading and imagined that somewhere there was some reading I and Leon's story in a book. Our descent led us to a chill lake, its calm waters reflecting the sky. Leon had the genius idea to rent a rowboat, and soon we were paddling along, the quiet splashes creating a peaceful melody. On the boat, surrounded by the calm of the lake, our chat got even deeper. We talked about what really mattered, our values, dreams, and the things that lit a fire in their hearts. Leon spilled about his passion for medicine and hoping to pursue a career in it. He wanted to make a positive difference. I, on the other hand, talked about my dream and aspiration about becoming an actress, my struggles, and the unstoppable drive that was pushing my dreams. Acting made me feel like a character in a book lull. As the sun started to set, casting a warm glow, Leon and I literally felt a magnetic pull. The connection we had built throughout the day was turning into something more. Our shared experiences wove a tapestry of moments. Leon and I were on our way to creating a solid foundation for our relationship. And we wrapped up the day with a low-key dinner at a lakeside joint. Candles flickering, soft chatter in the background. It was cozy. We savored the meal, exchanging looks that said it all, words unnecessary in the face of such a strong understanding. Driving back home under the night sky, a sweet sense of contentment hung in the air. Leon's and I favorite date night honestly felt like it was magic. Here's how it went down, in plain old words. So, Leon, being the sweet guy he is, decided to switch things up for us. No fancy dinners or extravagant plans, just a local pizza joint, some cozy outdoor movie setup in our backyard, and the promise of a darn good time. Walking there hand in hand, I felt that warm, fuzzy feeling only he gives. They kicked off the night with a trip to their favorite local pizza joint. No, not the fancy Italian place, but the one with the quirky decor and the smell of freshly baked dough wafting through the air. They laughed, shared inside jokes, and devoured slices like there was no tomorrow. But the date didn't stop there. Leon had a surprise up his sleeve, a cozy outdoor movie night in the backyard, blankets, pillows, and a projector. It was a simple setup that felt like a scene out of a romantic movie. Our backyard turned into a chill outdoor cinema. Picture this, fairy lights doing their thing, making it all cozy. Leon nailed it with this laid-back setup, and as we got comfy, I couldn't help but feel excited. The first movie kicked off, and under the stars, we snuggled up in blankets. It wasn't just about the movie. It was about the looks we shared, the silly grins, and the pure joy of being close. In between movies, Leon surprised me with a box of my mom's homemade cookies, the good stuff. We chatted about everything under the moon, dreams, fears, you name it. It was like building this cool stash of shared moments. As the night rolled on, I realized it was the simple stuff that made it special. Fairy lights, cozy blankets, and the love in Leon's eyes. That was the magic. Every stolen moment became part of our love story. As the years passed, our love deepened. We shared countless movie nights, inside jokes, and even braved a disastrous attempt at homemade sushi together. Leon's knack for cheesy puns had me in stitches every time, and our shared love for terrible dance moves made us the life of every party. Sometimes I wish I could turn back time to that date, where we sat outdoors and watched our favorite movies on the projector, when everything was still bright and goofy and fun. Leon was eager to please. His friends playfully labeled him a simp, laughing and acknowledging his unwavering commitment and eagerness to cater to whatever made me happy. Leon's actions spoke volumes about his adoration for me. From remembering every single detail of my coffee preferences to selecting thoughtful gifts that aligned with my interests, Leon's gestures were always fueled by a sincere desire to make me smile. His readiness to go the extra mile and his affectionate demeanor was what made me underrate him and not appreciate him well enough. I always thought that no matter what, Leon would always be there for me. I guess I should have known that there's something known as going too far. Leon gave me an inch, and I took a mile. Leon's eagerness to please continued to shine, manifesting in small, thoughtful gestures that made our dates unforgettable. From surprise picnics in the park to impromptu weekend getaways, Leon's knack for creating special moments became a hallmark of our relationship. It wasn't about grand gestures, but rather the genuine effort he put into making our ordinary moments extraordinary. Our conversations flowed effortlessly, ranging from lighthearted banter to deep discussions about dreams and aspirations. Leon's attentive nature allowed me to open up, creating a space where we both felt truly understood. We discovered shared interests, whether it was exploring new cuisines or binge-watching classic movies on lazy Sunday afternoons. As the seasons changed, so did the nature of our dates. Winter brought cozy nights by the fireplace, where Leon's simplicities, like hot cocoa with marshmallows and warm blankets, became cherished traditions. Springtime adventures saw us exploring nature trails hand in hand, the budding flowers mirroring the growth of their connection. Through it all, I guess I never truly appreciated Leon's sincerity. His gestures were never about trying too hard or conforming to societal expectations. They were a genuine reflection of his love. Their dating journey was a blend of laughter, shared secrets, and the comfort that came with being truly seen by another person. I got used to them, and I never truly appreciated him for all he did. As our love story unfolded, there were moments when some folks playfully teased Leon, calling him a simp. It was all in good fun, with friends and acquaintances poking lighthearted jokes about how Leon seemed to go above and beyond to make me happy. His buddies would often chuckle and say, "Man, you're such a simp for Jane, always pulling out all the stops." The banter was more like friendly ribbing, and Leon took it in stride, knowing that his gestures of affection were genuine and came from a place of deep love. Despite the teasing, Leon never let it bother him. He'd just grin and respond with something like, "Well, when you find someone as amazing as Jane, you'll understand why I do what I do." His authenticity and the strength of our relationship spoke louder than any lighthearted teasing. In the end, what others labeled as simp was simply Leon being true to himself, expressing love in his own way, and cherishing the happiness he found in making me smile. Our love story wasn't about conforming to stereotypes. It was about us two people embracing their connection in a way that felt right for them. I regret cheating so much. I had something beautiful and I threw it away like an unappreciative kid. I honestly wish I could turn back the hands of the clock, but if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. Back when we were 19 and just starting college, we were like two peas in a pod. College life kicked off with a mix of nerves and excitement, and we jumped into it together. Classes, late-night study sessions, and coffee shop hangouts. You name it, we did it. The joy we felt was contagious. It wasn't just about hitting the books. It was about sharing dreams and having each other's backs. Moving in together was this cool idea we tossed around, a dream we whispered about when talking about the future and making a home of their own. Leon's little acts of sweetness had this youthful energy. From leaving cute notes in my textbooks to surprising me with flowers after a tough exam, his gestures were all about the joy of being young and in love. Thinking about moving in together was both exciting and kinda scary. We'd chat about it, looking at different neighborhoods, and imagine what it'd be like to wake up next to each other every day. It was more than just a place to crash. It was about sharing life's ups and downs. As semesters rolled on, our college dating story was like a happy tune playing on repeat. We were figuring out life together, dreaming big and laughing louder than anyone else on campus. Our love story was all about making it through college hand in hand, sharing dreams, and building a life that started with a couple of crazy kids in love. Deciding to shack up was a big step for me and Leon. Moving in together was this mix of excitement and nerves, like going on a roller coaster for the first time. We were ready for the adventure of sharing a place and turning it into our own cozy corner. Finding our spot was like a weekend project. We'd check out apartments, argue about what color the walls should be, and daydream about chilling on the couch together. Turning a blank space into a home that screamed Jane and Leon was pretty darn exciting. Packing up our stuff felt like packing up our stories. Each box was like a piece of our lives, getting ready to blend into this new chapter. Leon, being the sweet guy he is, added his touch with little surprises, like framing a cute photo or setting up a picnic in our almost empty living room. The first night in our new apartment was a mix of heck yeah and, oh, we need to figure this out. Having our own place was awesome, but suddenly we had to deal with who gets more time in the bathroom or what color towels to buy. It was a bit of a puzzle figuring out the day-to-day stuff. Living together wasn't just about sharing space. It was about navigating the everyday stuff side by side. Late-night talks flowed easily, and our routines became the beat of their life together. From learning to compromise to creating little habits, our place became a comfy nest filled with love and laughter. Yeah, there were some hurdles, like whose turn it was to do the dishes or how to split bills, but these challenges just showed how strong our bond was. Moving in together wasn't just a change of address. It was about weaving our lives into this messy, beautiful adventure. As we settled into their cozy love nest, our relationship grew deeper, marking a big chapter in our dating story. One filled with the joy of building a life together, one day at a time. In college, things got real for me and Leon. Leon was knee-deep in the whole med school hustle, drowning in textbooks, exams, and trying to be the next big doctor. His schedule was tight and downtime together became a rare luxury. While Leon was buried in the medical world, I was chasing my dream of being an actress. But let's face it, breaking into showbiz isn't a cakewalk. Auditions felt like endless job interviews, rejections hit hard, and the acting scene was like a roller coaster, thrilling one minute, stomach dropping the next. Our dreams were pulling them in different directions, and it showed in our relationship. Leon was buried in his studies, leaving fewer opportunities for date nights or just chilling together. I, hustling to make it big in acting while also still studying in acting school, I faced auditions that seemed to lead nowhere, and my big break, well, that was like chasing a rainbow. Despite the grind, Leon stayed as my rock. Whether it was bringing me a coffee during late-night rehearsals or just being there after a rough audition, he was my constant. Leon, juggling med books and hospital shifts, never backed down from being my support system. Our relationship turned into this balancing act, Leon cracking open textbooks while I rehearsed lines. We each faced their own struggles, but their love became this unbreakable thread in the midst of life's chaos. One time, Leon and I hit a rough patch. His job in the medical field is real tough and no walk in the park, and sometimes that stress comes home with him. On my end, I'm hustling through auditions and the whole artsy scene. Lol, so picture this. One night in our living room, vibes are off. Leon, dealing with the weight of a hard day at the hospital, is in his zone. Me? I just want a break from the heavy stuff. In our cozy space, you could feel the tension. Leon, not one to spill his feelings easily, is struggling to put things into words. And there I am, trying to decode the intricacies of his job. We decide to have a heart-to-heart. I'm genuinely curious, asking Leon to spill about his work, the highs, the lows, all of it. Slowly, he opens up, giving me a peek into the tough world of healthcare. On the flip side, Leon wants to get what my deal is with all this creative stuff. He starts showing up for my performances, getting into the stories I bring home, trying to get the artsy scene. We're finding common ground beyond the differences in our jobs. But through these talks, we figure out how to support each other better. Leon learns to chill in my creative space, and I find comfort in his rock-solid support. Our bond grows stronger. In the midst of med school mayhem and my never-ending hustle for that elusive big break, our love story was proof that even when life throws curveballs, love can stand strong. It was messy, it was tough, but it was real, showcasing that even in the midst of chasing dreams, our love was constant. Life continued to get real messy for me and Leon as we continued to hustle through our chosen paths. Leon's medical school journey was like climbing a never-ending mountain, with endless studying, crazy textbooks, and the constant pressure to be the best. It was tough, and there wasn't much room for a breather. As for me, college wasn't any smoother for me. My days continued to be like a wild roller coaster, swinging between hopeful auditions and those brutal rejection letters. The big break I wanted felt like it was playing hide and seek, making me question if it would ever happen. Our struggles didn't just stick to their own lanes, it seeped into our relationship. Leon, drowning in medical studies, felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. I, juggling auditions and a ton of uncertainty, battled self-doubt and the fear of never hitting the jackpot in my acting career. Money added a whole other layer of stress. Med school bills and my acting dreams made our wallets feel lighter than a feather. Tight budgets meant putting dreams on hold and facing the harsh realities of making ends meet. But you know what? In the middle of this mess, our love stood strong. Leon was still my rock, cheering me on before auditions or just reminding me that she had what it takes. His support was her anchor, keeping her from going under. Our struggles turned into the threads weaving the story of their journey. Nights of silent studying and comforting hugs after tough auditions became the real glue holding us together. In the middle of all the chaos, they found comfort in each other, like a safe haven in the storm of challenges. Leon and I continued to find ourselves in a tight spot when it came to cash. I was all in for acting school and auditions, but landing a solid job was like trying to catch a slippery fish. Despite giving it my all, those paychecks just weren't showing up. Meanwhile, Leon, knee-deep in the madness of medical school, became the one-man financial show. Student loans were piling up, and being the only provider for both of us became a heavy load on his shoulders. The dream of being a doctor started feeling more like a constant grind just to keep things afloat. Things got real tight, budgeting every penny, stretching every dollar, and pressing pause on dreams. Leon was hustling between his medical books and work shifts, trying to keep the ship from sinking. The stress of being the sole provider took its toll, leaving little room for a breather for him. I was doing my best with auditions and acting classes, so I couldn't chip in money-wise. It wasn't for lack of trying, but the crazy unpredictability of showbiz made landing a job feel like chasing butterflies. Our dream of a future together was crystal clear, but the present was a battleground of money struggles. Yet, in the middle of this chaos, Leon stood tall. He became the paycheck hero, holding it down and keeping our heads above water. His strength and determination to see us through became the rock in the storm of uncertainty. Being the only provider wasn't easy for Leon, and the pressure of money stuff weighed on our relationship. Late-night talks about making it through and just being there for each other became our daily routine. I still remember tossing my graduation cap into the air, armed with my acting school diploma and my dreams that still felt out of reach. The cheers faded as reality set in. Auditions came and went, but that big break I had hoped for was like chasing a ghost. The spotlight I wanted so badly, still playing hard to get. Meanwhile, on the other side of the academic stage, Leon threw on his cap and gown, celebrating finishing his undergrad degree. Amidst the cheers, a new chapter was about to kick off: medical school. Becoming a doctor was now the main goal, and the journey ahead looked like a tough climb. For me, graduation was a mix of sweet and bitter. I walked away with a diploma, but that breakthrough role was still MIA. The acting world stayed unpredictable, but the lessons I learned on stage came with me into whatever came next. Leon's move to medical school brought a different kind of excitement. Textbooks replaced scripts, and the stage became the world of healing. He was pumped for the new chapter in his life. Our dreams took different paths, but they converged at this point. I was still dealing with the ups and downs of showbiz, and Leon, gearing up for the challenges of medical training, was standing on the edge of something new. The thrills of graduation and graduation cheers had echoed away, leaving us at the intersection of dreams and real life. Lol, I strutted out of acting school with my diploma, ready to conquer the real world. But reality hit me like a ton of bricks, audition after audition, and that big break I wanted, still playing hard to get. The world of casting calls and rejection emails became my daily grind, putting my grit to the test in the unpredictable world of showbiz. The spotlight I chased seemed more like a shadow than a glow. On the flip side, Leon, with his undergrad degree and a ticket to medical school, had his own set of real-life struggles. Med school's tough curriculum, endless study hours, and the weight of student loans added layers to his journey. Navigating the complex world of medical education, the pressure to be top-notch, and the sacrifices required by his chosen path were no joke. Money issues squeezed both Leon and I. No steady acting job meant my wallet was feeling the pinch. Leon, trying to juggle med school bills, found himself doing a financial balancing act to make things work. Dreams were banging heads with reality, and ours was one story of shared sacrifices and tight budgets, lol. We were feeling real-life struggles. Late-night talks went from chasing dreams to figuring out bills, and the cheers of graduation were drowned out by the noise of survival. I still clearly remember Leon wrapped up his stint in medical school, rocking the cap and gown at graduation. Our cheers echoed his hard work, and now the next adventure was on the horizon: residency. The road to becoming a doctor had its share of tough moments, but here he was, ready for the next big step. On the flip side, my journey in acting was still a waiting game. My acting school diploma didn't magically bring the spotlight. Auditions kept rolling, but that big break I wanted was still playing hard to get. I was getting frustrated. The acting world stayed unpredictable, but I clung to hope, still waiting for my moment to shine. Leon, now a legit doctor, dove into residency with a mix of excitement and nerves. Long hours and tons to learn were on the menu. It was a new phase where his doctor skills would be put to the test. The responsibility grew, but his passion to heal and make a difference stayed rock solid. In the background of Leon's medical triumph, money struggles stuck around. My acting dream meant I wasn't pulling in a steady income. Leon was still flying solo as the caregiver, and he kept holding down our fort. I still remember when Leon proposed to me, LOL. He set up a cozy spot in our favorite park with blankets, fairy lights, and a picnic basket filled with our go-to snacks. Nothing fancy, just a touch of magic in the ordinary. He had kept the plan under wraps and invited me for an impromptu day out. The park was lit by the warm glow of the setting sun. I remember us walking hand in hand. We settled into the prepared spot, and suddenly he poured out his feelings, reminiscing about our journey, the highs, the lows, and the rock-solid support we'd given each other. Then came the heart-in-your-throat moment. I remember Leon pulling out a small box, revealing a simple ring that caught the fading daylight. He asked me to marry him and make him the happiest man in the world. Lol. The surprise hung in the air. It was a question that was obviously wrapped in love. I was caught in the whirlwind of emotions: happiness, excitement, love. No grand gestures, just a heartfelt question and the promise of our shared future. Our marriage was tough, LOL. Leon's family were a bunch of well-meaning but skeptical folks. They gave me the side-eye lol. They saw me as ungrateful, and turns out they weren't totally off the mark. I was so unappreciative of Leon, I underrated him. Though on my side, it was a bit of a different story. Everyone in my family was Team Leon, LOL, except for my dad. He had this idea that Leon was too much of a simp, not manly enough. According to him, Leon needed to toughen up and be more assertive. All this family drama stressed us out. Leon's family was throwing shade at me, and my dad was side-eyeing Leon. It was like trying to juggle with both hands tied. No matter how hard I tried, Leon's family, for some reason, wasn't exactly rolling out the red carpet for me. Instead, they were dishing out more eye rolls and skepticism than a reality show judge. Every family gathering felt like wading through a pool of judgment, where I was more like an unwelcome guest than a potential family member. The not-so-friendly vibes and disapproving glances turned each family get-together into a tightrope walk for me. It wasn't just a matter of different opinions. It felt more like a neon sign flashing, "You're not good enough for our Leon." Conversations became a careful dance, with every word chosen to avoid setting off the family drama bomb. Leon, stuck in the middle, tried to play peacekeeper, but the tension just wouldn't let up. I felt like an outsider, stuck in a maze of unnecessary judgment and disapproval. The family trouble wasn't limited to raised eyebrows and disapproving looks. There were snarky comments, pointed questions, and an overall vibe of prove yourself hanging in the air. It was a rough ride for me, and every family gathering turned into a battle she didn't sign up for. Despite Leon's efforts to smooth things over, the the resistance remained strong. Jane wondered if she'd ever win their approval. The family headache turned their relationship into a bit of a war zone, where I had to face off against unwarranted scrutiny. I couldn't help but wonder if I'd ever truly be part of Leon's family. As the bills started piling up, Leon started to have the real talk with me. The acting dream I was chasing wasn't exactly paying the bills, and the pressure was building. After a few heartfelt discussions, I reluctantly agreed. It was time to find a job. Our grand wedding plans, LOL, that were once filled with excitement, had to be tossed aside. Cash was tight, and the reality of our financial situation was hitting us square in the face. The celebration we'd been eagerly planning had to be shelved, and we found ourselves in the tough position of putting the joyous event on hold just so we could gather cash. In our quest for stability, I landed a job as a barista at the local coffee joint. It wasn't the Hollywood glamour I'd envisioned, but it offered the flexibility I needed. The unpredictable hours meant I could still squeeze in auditions, keeping a flicker of my hope alive for my acting dreams. The daily grind at the cafe became my new reality, making lattes, chatting with customers, and slipping in a bit of script reading whenever I could. The glitz and glam of Hollywood and acting had taken a backseat to the aroma of coffee beans and the clinking of cups. The postponed wedding also cast a sad shadow on us. I literally found myself straddling two worlds: the practicality of work to pay the bills and the ongoing pursuit of a dream that felt just out of reach. The compromise wasn't easy at all. So, in the story of our lives, Leon and I went through some serious growth spurts. Life threw challenges at us, and we didn't just dodge them. We faced them head-on, learning a whole bunch about themselves and each other along the way. For me, trading Hollywood dreams for a gig at the local coffee spot wasn't just a job change. It was like a crash course in toughness. The whole red carpet fantasy had to step aside for the reality of bills and adulting. Amidst the smell of brewed coffee lull, I tapped into a kind of strength I didn't know I had. I learned to roll with the punches, find happiness in the everyday, and discover sides of myself beyond the glitzy dreams. Leon's journey in the medical world was no walk in the park either. Long hours and loads of responsibility tested his limits. But in the exhaustion and the tough moments, Leon also found out he had a determination that ran deep. His job wasn't just a place to clock in, it became a space for Leon to grow, to become more than he thought he could be. Dealing with money stress, putting wedding plans on hold, and just handling the ups and downs of life became like a boot camp for our relationship. We figured out how to talk better, support each other when things got real, and handle the messy stuff that comes with being grown-ups. At one point, we even thought of moving from our small town to a different, bigger city just for a fresh start, but dismissed the idea. And so despite the thought of a fresh start in a different city, Leon and I stuck around in the same old place. But you know what? Our friend game got a serious upgrade. In the familiar spots we knew so well, we found themselves wrapped up in a bunch of new friendships that added a whole lot of color to our lives. I worked my shifts at the local coffee joint, started hitting it off with my fellow baristas. Work wasn't just about getting a paycheck anymore. It was a place where jokes were cracked and everyone had each other's backs. These new pals not only made the workday less of a drag, but also gave me a cool group of buddies. On Leon's side of things, the hospital crew became more than just work buddies. They were his after-hours companions too. Beyond the hospital walls, they'd grab dinners and hit up weekend hangouts. Work pals turned into genuine friends, providing Leon with a chill squad outside the daily grind. Leon and I became part of a group of couples figuring out this whole relationship thing. Dinners and game nights with other duos turned into a regular thing, creating a vibe of community where we could all share the ups and downs of love. Life's like a big old road trip with lots of forks in the road, and Leon and I were cruising toward a major one. The whole wedding thing, put on hold thanks to money stuff, was back on the table. Instead of just a fancy party, we knew we wanted something simple and familiar. I was still rocking that coffee shop apron, but I didn't let go of my acting dreams. Auditions and callbacks were now part of my weekly routine. Leon had my back, cheering me on, because he knew personal growth isn't a solo gig. It's a team effort. And speaking of teams, Leon found himself at a career crossroads in the medical world. Fancy opportunities for climbing the ladder and specializing popped up, making him think hard about where he wanted to go. The hospital where he punched the clock suddenly seemed like the launch pad for something bigger, pushing Leon to level up not just as a doctor, but as a leader in his field. Our buddy crew, the pals we'd picked up along the way, were like a cheering section as Jane and Leon tackled these big decisions. These were the people who'd seen them through the roller coaster of life. So here we were, on the brink of something new. Leon and I knew personal growth wasn't like reaching a finish line. It was more like a constant journey. Funny enough, our house was a gift from Leon's family, LOL. Leon's folks, meaning well but maybe a bit too nosy, decided to pitch in with a down payment for a house. Sounds nice, right? Well, it came with a catch, a big one. No way was my name allowed on the deed. In the family discussions that followed, I could practically taste the unspoken reservations. Leon's family seemed to continue to have some doubts about fully embracing me into the family club. The financial gift wasn't just a gift, it was a nudge, a subtle way of saying, hey, maybe Jane doesn't quite fit the family picture we had in mind. Now imagine Leon caught in the crossfire, torn between family expectations and his commitment to me. Leon and I had a bit of a fallout over the issue. It stung to realize that his family had omitted me like this. Why wouldn't my name be on the deed? The frustration and hurt bubbled up, but eventually, I relented because we needed the money. It was a bitter pill to swallow, a compromise for the sake of our shared dreams. Leon apologized to me multiple times, explaining the necessity of the money, and I understood his predicament. In a compromise, he accepted his family's aid, with the condition that my name wouldn't be on the deed. Despite this, we decided to move forward and went house shopping. The process took a while, filled with discussions, debates, and moments of excitement. Eventually, we stumbled upon a house that resonated with both of us. It felt like a place where our dreams could take root, despite the absence of my name on the deed or the fact that his family hated me, lol. Our wedding day? Supposed to be this magical start to a new chapter, right? But as I walked down that aisle, I couldn't shake this feeling, like maybe things weren't exactly how I pictured them. Saving up for the day was no walk in the park. Every dollar felt like a reminder of the late nights and early mornings, of me in that coffee shop apron, and Leon grinding away at the hospital. The money struggles, once this big obstacle, became a symbol of our determination to make this day happen. We didn't go for some fancy Hollywood-style celebration. Nope. We opted for simple and close to our hearts. The church wasn't a grand cathedral, it was cozy, with worn-out pews and a sense of familiarity. This wasn't about showing off, it was about promises made in a place that felt like home. As I walked down that aisle in a dress that leaned more towards elegance than extravagance, memories of our struggles and victories flashed before me. It wasn't just a walk towards Leon. It was a stroll into a future we worked tirelessly to build together. Leon waiting at the altar in a well-fitted suite felt like a mix of nerves and excitement. The ceremony wasn't some impersonal affair. It was officiated by our buddy, the one who'd been there through thick and thin. No rehearsed speeches, just a friend talking about the spilled lattes and shared dreams at the coffee shop. No fancy vows from a script, just words spoken from the heart. The kind that said, I've got your back no matter what. Our reception wasn't in some grand ballroom with chandeliers. It was in a cozy spot with fairy lights and the warmth of close friends and family. No grand gestures, just speeches filled with laughter, maybe a tear or two, and a lot of heart. My coffee shop pals reminisced about our shared dreams, and Leon's work buddies toasted to the adventures that awaited. Our first dance wasn't some choreographed routine. It was just two people swaying to the music, surrounded by the ones who mattered most. No Hollywood magic, just the real, messy, and beautiful love that brought us to this point. Our wedding day wasn't about showing off or trying to be something we weren't. It was a celebration of overcoming the stuff life throws at you, of growing together, and of choosing each other, imperfections and all, every single day. In the simplicity of our chosen path. Few years after we said our vows, things took a turn I didn't see coming. The cozy routine we had, it turned into this kind of boredom that crept in and made me question everything. The spark Leon and I had, it flickered and I felt lost in this maze of monotony. Then there's this whole acting dream I was chasing, audition after audition, and it felt like I was hitting a brick wall. The rejection emails and the phone staying silent, they became a constant reminder that maybe the Hollywood dreams I had were just that. Dreams. Leon, my rock, noticed the change in me. The laughter we used to share, it's become like a distant memory. He started trying even harder, throwing in new stuff, but my heart was not fully in it. The craving for excitement wasn't just about me and Leon. It was seeping into my auditions, too. Empty theaters and quiet moments at home felt heavy with routine. The gap between what I expected and what was happening started messing with my head. Leon was stuck in the middle. He wanted to be the stable guy I needed, but he also wanted to bring back the spark. My dreams felt like they were slipping away. Audition calls became like rare gems in my world. So when Robert, a director, showed interest, it felt like the universe finally gave me a break. Little did I know, the break came with strings attached. Robert, with his charm that walked the fine line between professional and personal, made an offer that turned the audition room into a complicated stage. He wanted me to be his mistress. Crazy, right? My mind screamed, "Don't do it." But then I thought about all those rejection emails, all those silent phones, and the constant struggle to catch a break in Hollywood. Reluctantly, I agreed. It wasn't about Leon anymore. It was about clawing my way up in an industry that seemed to have shut its doors on me. The guilt about cheating on Leon lingered like a shadow, but the desperation for success drowned it out. As the days passed, I grew more distant from Leon. The weight of the secret I carried pushed us apart. The laughter we used to share felt like echoes from another time. I tried to convince myself that I was doing it for us, for our future, but the truth was, I was losing sight of who I was in this pursuit of a dream that seemed to demand more than just talent. I juggled auditions, a secret affair, and the constant fear of Leon finding out. The more I distanced myself, the more I lost not only in my marriage, but also within myself. The auditions, which used to be my escape, now became a stage where I performed the charade of a happily married woman. The weight of the secret felt heavier with each passing day, but the allure of Hollywood success seemed worth the sacrifice, at least in the twisted logic that had taken over. In the quiet moments, I found myself questioning if this was the price of success. Was this the compromise one had to make in an industry that thrived on blurred lines and hidden truths? The journey that once promised excitement and adventure now felt like a dark maze with no way out. The mistress role consumed more of my life. I even began to wonder if the dream I chased was worth losing the love and trust of the person who had been my constant support. The Hollywood spotlight had its price, and I began to realize that the cost was far more than I could have imagined. I became a tangled mess. Auditions, rejection emails, the whole Hollywood struggle, it was like a storm, and I was right in the middle of it. And then there was Leon, the guy who's been there through thick and thin. The guilt about what was happening with Robert, it was like this heavy cloud hanging over me. I tried to tell myself it's for the future, for us, but I was starting to lose sight of who I was in my crazy pursuit of a dream. Leon, he's the simp who loves me. That's what I told myself when the guilt started to eat away at me. Deep down, I tried inwardly convincing myself that no matter what, he'll forgive me if he ever finds out. It was a twisted logic I conjured up to make things easier to swallow. In the quiet moments, I would picture Leon, the guy who's always been there, and I would try to convince myself that his love is this unbreakable thing. He's the kind of person who'd forgive, right? Even if I mess up, even if this Hollywood dream has a steep price, I told myself he'd understand. Even with Robert's meager help, my big break, it was nowhere in sight. The dream I was chasing, it was morphing into a nightmare. Hollywood's spotlight, once inviting, has now exposed the harsh reality. Desperation had led me into this maze, and now I'm questioning if there's an exit. Was success worth losing the love and trust of the guy who's had my back? Hollywood's dream has a price, way more than I bargained for. And here's the kicker. I start to despise Leon a bit. Not him, really. It's the guilt that's nagging at me. Every shared smile feels like a silent accusation, a reminder of the secret I'm hiding. Robert turned things upside down for me. He was like a guide, showing me a different way of looking at stuff. He cracked open a door to a world where rules aren't so strict, and freedom felt like it was just around the corner. I got caught up in this whirlwind of changes, and it started messing with how I saw Leon. The easy laughter we used to share? Not so easy anymore. There's this subtle shift that happened, and respect, well, it's starting to slip away. Thanks to the influence of Robert and my stupid newfound sense of freedom, my tone with Leon changed, not on purpose, but suddenly, the small stuff, gestures, words, were heavier, more loaded. It's like the simplicity we had was getting tangled up in this mess of my stupid, complicated feelings and betrayal. Leon, who was clueless about what was going on, started feeling the effects of the shift. As things shifted around with Leon and me, my friendship started taking a hit too. Those buddies who knew me inside out and shared a gazillion laughs, they started seeing a side of me that wasn't exactly winning me any popularity points. Our chats turned into awkward silences, and I could literally feel the disapproval hanging in the air. The gossip behind my back gets louder, and the strong bonds we had, they start to loosen up. It's like a chain reaction. I tweak things with Leon, and suddenly, my connection with the squad isn't as strong as it used to be. The freedom I thought I wanted feels more like a curse, and it messed not just with Leon, but with the friends who had my back. In the middle of all that, I was wrestling with who I was. I, the girl who loved simple stuff and valued her bonds, was now stuck in a messy situation. The face staring back at me in the mirror had changed, and I was wondering how I got there. And infuriatingly, it turned out I took a stupid chance with Robert. I literally thought he was the ticket to Nollywood stardom. But guess what? Reality hit me like a ton of bricks, and it wasn't the glitzy picture I painted in my head. Navigating Nollywood with Robert was less red carpet and more stumbling in the dark. His supposed fame? More like a dim light in a huge, shadowy room. Those whispers about him being a big deal? Just faint talk in an industry where everyone's hustling. Even with all the messy stuff between us, that big break I daydreamed about, still playing hard to get. Being Robert's sidekick and mistress didn't magically open doors to fame. Nope, it was a slap in the face, a reminder that success in this business isn't handed out like candy. As I waded through the real deal of Nollywood, I started questioning the choices that had landed me here. The flashy dreams clashed with the blunt truth of an industry where everyone's clawing for the spotlight. It wasn't the storybook ending I pictured. Instead, I was stuck dealing with the fallout of my own decisions. The glamour I thought came with Nollywood? Yeah, that got overshadowed by the grind. It's not all glitz. It's more like a maze of auditions, rejections, and a bunch of folks hungry for their big break. My expectations collided head-on with the real struggles of actors trying to make it. Robert, who I thought was this game changer, started looking more like a player in a tricky game. His influence wasn't the golden ticket I believed in. The journey through Nollywood wasn't the glam adventure I pictured. It was a lesson in toughness, grit, and the hard facts of showbiz. My complicated involvement with Robert has unwinded, and it showed me that success needed more than secret affairs and hushed promises. It needed guts, talent, and a load of patience, stuff I was starting to figure out I needed. In the middle of that wake-up call, I also found myself at another crossroads. Nollywood's glitter clashed with the sobering reality that making it needed more than secret alliances and whispered pledges. It called for hard work, real talent, and the skill to handle the ups and downs without losing myself. I got that being Robert's sidekick and mistress wasn't the shortcut I thought it was. It was a detour, a shift from the path I believed would take me to fame. The shiny mirage of stardom got replaced by the real grind of an industry that separates the wannabes from the hustlers. So there I was, resetting my expectations and realizing that the road to Nollywood glory was a bumpy ride, far from the illusions I once had. And right at that time, life threw another curveball my way. I found out I was pregnant, and let me tell you, Reddit, the timing couldn't have been worse. There was the kicker. Leon and I haven't been intimate for a good while, and I literally coin ignore the reality staring me in the face. It was Robert's baby. The weight of the revelation hits like a ton of bricks. Staring at that pregnancy test, a jumble of emotions hit me. Fear, guilt, and a hint of hope that maybe I could pull off a crazy plan. I convinced myself that if I could just sell Leon on the idea that the baby is ours, then perhaps, against all odds, I could keep up the charade. In my head, I was literally trying to spin this wild story that maybe, just maybe, Leon will embrace the idea that this little one is his. It was like a messed up mental tug of war. So there I was, stuck in this mess of my own making, juggling emotions that I never signed up for. I kept on selfishly considering the option of throwing the child into Leon's arms and hoping he'd embrace it as his own. It was a messed up, selfish dilemma that I grappled with in the quiet corners of my conscience. There was this twisted logic whispering in my ear that if I could just convince Leon, make him believe the baby is his, then maybe, just maybe, I could cling to the remnants of the life I envisioned. It was selfish, I know. It was throwing my burden onto someone else, expecting them to carry the weight of my choices. But here's the thing about selfish feelings. They don't always make sense, and they certainly don't lead to easy decisions. In an internal tug-of-war between truth and deception, the temptation to prioritize one's own comfort over the reality of the situation is strong, and the temptation to save my marriage no matter what is oh so strong. So here I am right now, not knowing what to do. I'm hoping by posting here that I'll find some respite. I feel so guilty. How do I convince Leon? I don't want him to leave me, and on the other hand, I don't want to tell him about the affair. Update! So it's been a couple of weeks since I posted on here asking for help, and I honestly didn't expect the post to blow up like this. Everyone's been asking for an update, so here's one on what has happened in the few weeks that have passed. All right, let me spill the beans. Robert, the so-called hero of my story, turned out to be just another dude playing games. Lies, betrayal, and a whole lot of mess. I'm right in the middle of a colossal fallout with him. The dream I had? Yeah. It crumbled faster than a sandcastle at high tide, leaving me facing the real consequences of my choices. Robert made it crystal clear he wants zilch to do with this upcoming bundle of joy. I literally felt something shift inside me. The illusion of a perfect life with him had shattered. I had somehow hoped Robert would want the child, and in the debris, a new resolve literally took root in me. It was time to ditch the wreckage and pick up the pieces of who I used to be. Walking away from the train wreck of my argument with Robert, I make a promise to myself to go back to being the kick-ass partner I once was to Leon. I have made a choice to bury the affair deep down, pretending it's just a bad dream. Dealing with my own deception is like chewing on a bitter pill, but I'm dead set on fixing what's broken. I have decided to figure out a way to put the baby on Leon's plate, making him think it's his. Yeah, it's a messed up plan, but it's my attempt to stitch together a semblance of normal life, even if I'm just playing pretend. The whole scheme is rooted in desperation and denial, but hey, you do what you gotta do to make things right. We'll update on Leon's reaction. Update! Hey, another update. I've told Leon about the little one, and his reaction was over the moon. All right, so picture this. I tried trying to get closer to Leon, hoping it'll patch up the rough spots in our relationship, and well help me pin the baby on him. We have a moment, and in the coziness of that time, I decide it's time to spill the beans about the bun in the oven. I'm nervous but hopeful, thinking this news will bring a good dose of joy and excitement, even though he doesn't know the child isn't his. Guess what? Leon's reaction is off the charts. The guy is downright thrilled, and in that instant, I'm feeling the love. His happiness mirrors mine, and the thought of navigating this parenthood thing together becomes a shining beacon of hope. I'm so glad Robert could go to hell for all I care. Turns out I never needed him, lol. I genuinely can't help but appreciate the growing connection between us. The idea of facing parenthood side by side has literally become a source of comfort and renewal. I'm enjoying the shared bliss right now, Thinking this disclosure is a step towards fixing our relationship, I feel like we're finally on the mend. I celebrate the fact that Leon seems genuinely thrilled about the baby. But excitement aside, here's the scoop. Leon, with all his good intentions for the baby, has thrown a bit of a bomb my way. He wants me to quit my job. Yeah, cue the surprise. Now, I'm stuck in this mix of feelings. On one side, there's the sweet idea of Leon wanting a chill vibe for our soon-to-arrive kiddo. On the flip side, it's a reality check. Bills to pay, a job I kinda like, and the big question mark hanging over what this means for our future. Leon thinks he can cover the bills himself, and even though I believe him and know he can, he's literally earning more right now than ever before. But then again, I don't think I want to be a stay-at-home mom. So here I am also trying to wrap my head around this curveball. I'm facing a decision that's got some serious weight. Do I go along with Leon's wish for a stress-free pregnancy, or do I figure out how to juggle work and getting ready for this baby? In the middle of all this, to be honest, it feels like the choices I make now are like setting the course for a new chapter in my family's story. Talk about navigating uncharted territory, LOL. I'm feeling like a character from a storybook. Update! And did another update. At this point, I'm feeling like my updates are becoming one too many, but on the flip side, so many people keep asking me for an update. So here's another one, LOL. I quit my job. All right, buckle up for the real deal. Leon and I, we're sitting down, hashing out this job thing. No fancy words, just a heart-to-heart laying it all out. Leon, bless his heart, spills about his dream for a smooth ride into parenthood. He wants our little one to have it easy, and it's all coming straight from the heart. But here's the thing, as we chat, I'm wrestling with the nitty-gritty. My job isn't just a paycheck, it's like a part of who I am, you know? Quitting feels like stepping into the great unknown, a mix of nerves and what-ifs. After going back and forth, we decide, all right, let's switch things up. So I make the call, drop the resignation bomb, and there you have it. A roller coaster of emotions as I wave goodbye to one chapter and open the door to whatever's next. But on the upside, my work buddies decided to throw me a farewell party. Imagine this: a chill spot, laughs all around, and a bunch of good people. Walking in, it hit me. These guys are more than just work pals. They're like my extended family. The place is alive with memories and good vibes, and I'm getting hugs and smiles left and right. We swapped stories, crack up over our own jokes, and maybe shed a tear or two. It's a legit farewell, filled with genuine warmth and good times. My work buddies really know how to send someone off, LOL. Now, in the middle of all the talking and clinking glasses, I realized it's not just about saying peace to a job. It's closing the door on a chapter that's been packed with shared moments and memories. I might just have left a job, but I'm taking away a bunch of memories and friendships that are sticking around. So, I guess we wrapped up the goodbye shindig, hearts full, ready to dive into whatever comes next. Now, on another heartwarming positive note, my crew, the real MVPs, are literally excited about the baby's new, in fact, they've decided they're going all in. We're talking a full-blown baby brigade, ready to roll up their sleeves and dive into this parenting adventure with me, lol. They huddled together, lol, conspiring plans to be on standby for diaper duty, late-night feedings, and all the baby chaos that's bound to go down. It's like they've formed a secret society of baby helpers, armed with pacifiers and good vibes. I'm overwhelmed by the love and support pouring in. These friends of mine, they're not just talking the talk, they're gearing up to walk the walk, ready to be hands-on with the baby duties. It's the kind of solidarity that brings tears to your eyes, I tell you. It's the kind of support that gets you right in the heart. As we chat about their game plan, LOL, it hits me. This little one is stepping into a world surrounded not just by me, but by a whole crew of honorary aunts and uncles. Now that's something special. So, with the baby support crew on standby, armed with enthusiasm and maybe a few tricks up their sleeves, we're gearing up to tackle this new chapter as a team. And I'm feeling blessed to have this incredible circle of friends rolling with me on this baby adventure. Also, check this out. Leon's been doing a little financial shuffle in the background. No big announcements, just him sneakily moving some cash from our joint account into a secret stash, all set aside for the baby. No flashy superhero cape, Just Leon being a low-key money magician, making sure there's a little fund ready for the baby's needs. It's like he's silently building a safety net without making a big fuss. When I caught wind of this secret operation, it hit me in the feels: gratitude, surprise, and a whole lot of love. It's Leon, quietly getting things in order for the baby. And it's the kind of thing that makes your heart do a little happy dance. So while I'm getting ready for the baby roller coaster, Leon's got this financial backup plan rolling. It's not about big gestures. It's about making sure we're prepared for whatever parenthood tosses our way. And, truth be told, I'm beyond thankful for having a partner who's got our backs in these down-to-earth, thoughtful ways. Also, zero peep from Robert. No calls, no texts, just pure silence on that front. And you know what? I'm damn thankful for it. It's like the universe hit the mute button on the whole Robert drama, giving me a break from that crazy ride. No fuss, no mess, just a bit of peace and quiet. As I'm about to navigate this new motherhood thing, the fact that Robert's keeping his distance is like a breath of fresh air. Sometimes no news is the best news, and I'm soaking up this calm before any potential storm. So with Robert out of the picture, at least for now, I'm diving into baby preps and enjoying a bit of peace. Grateful for the quiet and ready for whatever's coming down the pipeline. Update! Hold on to your seats, Redditors. I am literally so distraught and angry right now, it turns out Leon knew about the whole cheating drama. Yeah, he had the lowdown on what was happening behind the scenes. So here I am thinking I've got this secret locket down, and then bam. Leon spills the beans. He'd been in the loop, quietly weathering the storm without letting on. The surprise literally hit me like a ton of bricks, and now I'm left trying to wrap my head around how he managed to keep this bombshell on the down low. How did he manage to keep quiet on it, is what I'm left wondering. This is a twist I didn't see coming. Worst of all, Leon's throwing in the towel on the baby front. Yep, he's decided he's not up for the whole dad gig. It's like a punch in the gut, realizing the person I thought would be there for the baby journey is tapping out. Leon's making it crystal clear. He's stepping away from the whole fatherhood thing. He says he was just faking it. Right from the start, he had zero interest in being part of the baby journey. It's like a cold reality check, finding out that all that talk about being involved was just that, talk. Leon, from the beginning, wasn't really in for the whole baby thing. As I wrap my head around this bombshell, it's a roller coaster of emotions. The person I thought was in this with me was basically playing pretend. And now I'm literally dealing with the aftermath of a relationship built on a whole lot of fakery. Leon and I had a huge fallout. I want him to accept the child, but he refuses. So accept a child that is not his, especially when the child remains him, that I cheated on him. Things with Leon right now is like tiptoeing through a field of landmines. Leon is hurt and feeling betrayed, and he is putting some distance between us. I'm here, desperately holding on to the hope that Leon will come around, that he'll be on board with this baby, even if it doesn't share his DNA. But nope. He's throwing up a wall of refusal, dead set against the idea of raising a child that's not biologically his. I find myself desperately yearning for Leon to soften, to open his heart to the idea of embracing this baby, even if it's not tied by blood. But nope. His stance remains unwavering, a resolute refusal to accept a child that doesn't share his DNA. It's a whirlwind of emotions. How did we go from partners in crime, dreaming of a future together, to this impassable divide? I'm grappling with the sinking feeling that maybe, just maybe, the foundation we built wasn't as solid as it seemed. The term simp rings in my ears, a bitter reminder of a love I thought was unshakable. I thought he loved me, and now he's refusing to accept my child. Even worse, Leon's got screenshots and concrete proof of the cheating saga, all neatly pulled from my phone. This is the kind of betrayal that makes you question everything you thought was real. I know what I did was wrong and very selfish, but it hurts that Leon played me like a string. I genuinely thought we were going to be a family, but it turns out he was actually plotting. Leon says his heart is in pieces after uncovering the cheating drama, and now he's throwing me a curveball. He needs some space, and divorce is hanging over us like a storm cloud. I'm literally deep in an emotional roller coaster right now. I keep trying to convince Leon not to tell anyone about me cheating. The thought of everyone finding out about the cheating terrifies me. I'm also laying it all on the line, telling him to embrace the child, holding on to the hope that our love can weather the storm. The person I imagined growing old with is now thinking about a life without me. I'm facing the harsh truth that the trust we once had is shattered, and our connection is hanging by the thinnest of threads. If my parents find out about MW cheating, they will definitely not forgive me, my friends too. Worst of all, Leon's family would have proven themselves right. I'm literally in a dilemma right now. I'm confused. Leon refuses to listen to me. I thought he loved me. Update! Leon and I are officially heading for divorce. No patching things up. We're now untangling the knots that once held our lives together. Honestly, the aftermath hits like a freight train. Leon didn't just pull the plug on us, our marriage and the baby. He spilled the beans about the cheating. And now I'm in the midst of a social storm. Everyone has abandoned me. My family has turned their backs on me as they're ashamed of me. My friends have vanished and they're on Leon's side. And Leon's family members are practically throwing a party at my expense, claiming they saw it all coming. Leon has kicked me out of the house and I am now holed up in a hotel room. It's his house and my name wasn't on the deed. My cash is getting dried up fast, and I fear what will happen when my cash gets finished. Also, it turns out Leon's account shuffle wasn't some careful financial planning for the baby. He was cleaning out our joint account and moving all the money to his personal account. I can't even believe how I didn't see that coming. Or notice the changes in Leon. I can't even argue for the money in the joint account, as it was majorly his money as he earned more. Leon also told me he made me quit my job so I would have nowhere to turn to. I can't even go back to the job because they won't take me back after finding out I cheated on Leon. I'm broke and strapped for cash, can't even swing or afford a lawyer, but here's a bit of good news. Robert's own house of cards is crashing down, and his marriage is hitting the skids. Apparently the news of the cheating got to her ears too. Sure, my life is a roller coaster right now, but at least I'm not the only one taking a wild ride. I'm glad because I'm not the sole architect of my own mess. My bank account might be on life support, but there's a weird comfort in knowing that the fallout isn't a solo performance, and that Robert's coming down with me. It's obvious Leon isn't just calling it quits. He is on a mission to mess up my life for the cheating, and he has successfully done it. I never imagined things would go down like this. Leon wants more than just a clean break. He wanted to wreck me for cheating. How did I let it get this far? I muttered to myself. It's like I've strayed so damn far from the person I wanted to be. The thrill of doing something forbidden seemed like an escape, a break from the routine. But now it's just a mess. A stupid choice that's left me with a broken heart and shattered dreams. Leon's love was like a lighthouse, guiding me through rough seas, and I treated it like a flickering candle. Now, in the quiet mess that follows the storm, I'm left with the aftermath of my own dumb choices. Leon's love was pure, and I took it for granted. His kindness, his loyalty, I chucked it away like it meant nothing. All for what? A fleeting moment of excitement that's led to nothing but a trail of regrets. I never meant to hurt him, never meant to wreck the life we built. I never wanted to see the disappointment in his eyes or the pain on his face. But here I am, dealing with the mess I made, facing up to what I did, dealing with the fallout of my own screw-ups. If only I could turn back time, make different choices. If only I could fix the damage I've done. I had a good thing, a damn good thing, and I chucked it away for what seemed like an adventure. But now, that adventure feels more like a never-ending nightmare. In moments like this, LOL, it hits me hard. Some choices can't be undone. This is me facing the harsh reality of my own mistakes, grappling with the regret that comes with dismantling a love story I once held so damn close. Regret ain't just about the affair. It's about all the dumb choices that got me stuck here, in this lonesome spot. I keep replaying those stolen moments in my head, the sneaky glances, the hush-hush talks, ingredients for a real disaster. I feel like a fool. In fact, I am a fool, so I guess learn from me, people. Here I am now, literally preparing for the court proceeding and not knowing what to do. Learn from me and don't make the mistakes I make. Also, please don't judge me, I'm only human.